Ever think about the rulers of old? Not just the famous ones, but the terrifying, the fierce, the ones who truly instilled fear. Dive back in time with me and let's uncover one of history's most fearsome kings. The Assyrian Empire, with its vast territorial expanse and intricate political machinery, stood as one of antiquity's mightiest realms. Located primarily in what we recognize today as parts of Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and Iran, the empire's grandeur and might resonated throughout the ancient world. And at its helm during one of its most influential periods was King Ashurbanipal. Born as the heir to the Assyrian throne in the 7th century BCE, Ashurbanipal inherited a legacy of war and dominion. But what set him apart from his predecessors wasn't just his lineage or his vast empire. It was his unparalleled cruelty and his insatiable thirst for knowledge. The city of Nineveh, the Assyrian capital, bore witness to both these facets of the king. Giant reliefs that adorned the walls of Ashurbanipal's grand palace recounted tales of his military campaigns in astonishing detail. In one of these stone narratives, defeated rebels can be seen subjected to harrowing punishments. Scenes depict enemies being skinned alive or impaled on stakes, grim spectacles meant to instill fear and ensure loyalty among friend and foe alike. But Ashurbanipal's tyranny wasn't reserved only for the battlefield. Within the heart of his empire, he erected an intricate network of spies. This Orwellian web ensnared everyone, from the commoner in the marketplace to the highest-ranking officials. It ensured that dissent was stifled and rebellions crushed even before they could take root. Loyalty in Ashurbanipal's empire wasn't a virtue, it was a survival mechanism. Yet for all his fearsome reputation, there was another side to Ashurbanipal that often goes unmentioned. He was an ardent patron of the arts and had an insatiable hunger for knowledge. This passion led to the creation of the Library of Ashurbanipal in Nineveh. It wasn't just any library, it was among the ancient world's largest repositories of knowledge, housing tens of thousands of cuneiform tablets. These texts, written on clay, covered a vast array of subjects, from medicine and astronomy to poetry and myths. This duality in Ashurbanipal's character is both fascinating and perplexing. On one hand, he was a tyrant, feared by many, with tales of his cruelty echoing through time. On the other, he was a visionary, dedicated to the preservation of knowledge and the promotion of arts. It's a stark reminder of the complexities of human nature, and the fact that history often isn't just black and white. It's a myriad of shades, shaped by the choices and ambitions of those who once walked the earth. Ancient Egypt, with its towering pyramids and sprawling temples, has always been a land of mystery and magnificence. The flow of the Nile, which nourished the Egyptian civilization, bore witness to the rise and fall of many pharaohs. Among them stood Pharaoh Pepi II, whose rule is a mosaic of achievements, eccentricities, and enigmas. Pepi II's reign is historically significant due to its incredible length. Ascending the throne as a mere child around the age of 6, he would go on to rule for an estimated 94 years, making his reign one of the longest in history. While the longevity of his rule is a subject of admiration, it's the intricacies and peculiarities of his reign that make Pepi II a truly intriguing figure. Let's delve into one of the more bizarre tales associated with him: his aversion to flies. Now, Egypt's warm climate and the presence of the Nile meant that flies were a common nuisance, but for Pharaoh Pepi II, mere fly swatters wouldn't do. Historical accounts suggest that the pharaoh had a rather unique solution. He would have slaves or servants smeared with honey stationed near him. The idea was straightforward but ingenious. The flies would be more attracted to the sticky sweetness of the honey than to the pharaoh, allowing him to go about his royal duties undisturbed. This tactic, while seemingly eccentric, offers a glimpse into the mindset of the rulers of the time. The pharaohs were seen as godlike figures, embodiments of divine right on earth. In such a world, even the minor inconvenience of a fly buzzing around would be deemed unacceptable. The honey-covered slaves were not just a practical solution, but also a symbolic assertion of the pharaoh's elevated status above common mortals and mundane annoyances. But Pepi II's reign wasn't just about unusual tactics. The latter part of his rule saw the old kingdom of Egypt waning in its glory. Administrative decentralization began to creep in, and the once unified Egypt started showing signs of fragmentation. Droughts, too, played a part in the difficulties faced during his rule. The mighty Nile, which had been the lifeline of the Egyptian civilization, saw reduced flooding, leading to crop failures and food shortages. There are speculations among historians about the correlation between Pepi II's extraordinarily long rule and the challenges faced by the Old Kingdom. Some argue that the challenges sprouted from the inertia that often accompanies long reigns, where adaptability to changing circumstances becomes limited. Additionally, archaeological and hieroglyphic records from Pepi II's era show a pharaoh deeply involved in religious rites, trade expeditions, and even expeditions to the far south in what is now Sudan. These expeditions primarily aimed at procuring incense, ivory, and other exotic goods for the royal court. In the grand tapestry of ancient Egyptian history, Pharaoh Pepi II stands out not just for the decades he spent on the throne, but for the multifaceted nature of his reign. From quirky personal habits to profound administrative challenges, his rule encapsulates the ebb and flow of an empire and the human stories that knit it together. Nestled amidst the ancient landscapes of Anatolia, which now constitutes much of modern-day Turkey, the Hittite Empire was a powerhouse that often gets overshadowed by its more renowned neighbors, like Egypt and Assyria. However, for those who delve into its rich history, the tales of its kings, their conquests, and their ambitions offer a treasure trove of insights. And standing tall among the Hittite kings is Suppiluliuma I, a ruler whose ambitions, strategies, and sheer force of will reshaped the political landscape of the late Bronze Age. Suppiluliuma I ascended the Hittite throne during a time of upheaval. The empire, though vast, was beleaguered by internal conflicts and external threats, but the young king, rather than being daunted, saw this as an opportunity. He began an aggressive campaign of expansion and consolidation, aiming to extend the Hittite dominion and secure its place as a major player in the ancient Near East. One of Suppiluliuma's most audacious exploits was his engagement with Egypt, then under the rule of the beleaguered pharaoh Akhenaten. Ancient texts, particularly the Hittite tablets, chronicle a fascinating episode that seems straight out of a drama. The widowed Egyptian queen, often speculated to be Ankhesenamun, sent an emissary to Suppiluliuma with a desperate plea. She wanted one of his sons to marry her and ascend the Egyptian throne, a move that would have sealed an unprecedented alliance. Suppiluliuma, sensing both the gravity and the opportunity of the proposal, agreed. However, in a twist that no one saw coming, the Hittite prince sent for this mission was taken care of under mysterious circumstances. The tragic turn of events set the stage for a protracted conflict between the two empires, but Egypt was not Suppiluliuma's only focus. His military campaigns reached far and wide, from the kingdom of Mitanni in the southeast to the Ardzawa lands in the west. Suppiluliuma's strategy often involved a combination of military might and cunning diplomacy. He would establish vassal states, ensuring their loyalty through a complex web of treaties, pledges, and sometimes strategic marriages. While his conquests brought immense wealth and power to the Hittite Empire, they also brought enemies. Suppiluliuma's aggressive expansionism and the subsequent annexation of territories often led to bitter rivalries and prolonged wars. However, it was neither a battlefield nor a political intrigue that would be his ultimate nemesis. As fate would have it, during one of his sieges, a deadly plague broke out among his troops. This epidemic, believed to be the first recorded instance of smallpox, would eventually claim the life of the great king and pose a significant threat to his successors. Suppiluliuma I's reign, with its blend of military genius, shrewd diplomacy, personal ambition, and tragic ends, is emblematic of the dynamism of the ancient world. His story reminds us of the transient nature of power and the intricate tapestry of human ambition, strategy, and fate that shapes the annals of history. The tapestry of Indian history, with its vibrant hues of culture, religion, and politics, has given rise to numerous legends and tales. Among the pantheon of Indian rulers, Ashoka stands out not just for his conquests, but for a profound transformation that would leave an indelible mark on the subcontinent's history and beyond. Born into the Mauryan dynasty around 304 BCE, Ashoka was the grandson of Chandragupta Maurya, who had laid the foundations of the Mauryan Empire, one of ancient India's most extensive empires. Young Ashoka was not initially viewed as the obvious choice for the throne, yet through a combination of ambition, prowess, and possibly intrigue, he ascended as the Mauryan emperor in 268 BCE. From the onset of his rule, Ashoka exhibited a hunger for territorial expansion. He set his eyes on the rich and culturally diverse region of Kalinga, present-day Odisha. What followed was one of the bloodiest battles in Indian history. The Battle of Kalinga in 261 BCE was not just a military campaign, it was a cataclysmic event that would reshape Ashoka's very essence. The aftermath of the battle was a sight of sheer horror. The ground was strewn with the bodies of the dead, the rivers ran red with blood, and the wails of the wounded and bereaved filled the air. Conservative estimates suggest that over 100,000 soldiers and civilians perished, with many more displaced or deported. For many rulers, such a victory would be a testament to their military prowess, a jewel in their imperial crown. But for Ashoka, the sight of the devastation and the realization of the suffering he had inflicted led to profound introspection. Legend has it that after the battle, while wandering amidst the ruins, he came across a Buddhist monk who further kindled his burgeoning feelings of remorse and introspection. What transpired next is nothing short of remarkable. Ashoka, once a fierce warrior, turned his back on violence and embraced Buddhism, a religion that emphasizes compassion, non-violence, and the eightfold path leading to enlightenment. But Ashoka's transformation wasn't confined to personal salvation alone. He believed that as a ruler it was his duty to ensure the moral and spiritual welfare of his subjects. He embarked on a mission to spread the teachings of the Buddha, both within his empire and beyond its borders. All across the Mauryan Empire, he commissioned the construction of stupas known as Buddhist shrines and erected rock and pillar edicts. These edicts, inscribed in the local script, relayed his messages of compassion, tolerance, and the importance of moral conduct. They stand as historical testimonies to a ruler's commitment to ethical governance. One of the most famous of these edicts, the Rock Edict Third, provides a detailed account of the Kalinga War and Ashoka's subsequent transformation. In it, he expresses his deep regret for the suffering caused and underscores his commitment to Dhamma, a term encompassing righteous living, truth, and justice. Beyond the borders of his vast empire, Ashoka sent emissaries to spread Buddhism. His children, Mahinda and Sanghamitta, are credited with introducing Buddhism to Sri Lanka, where it remains the predominant religion to this day. Ashoka's reign encapsulates a journey from brutal conquests to spiritual enlightenment. It's a testament to the transformative power of introspection and empathy. While many rulers are remembered for the territories they conquered, Ashoka's legacy lies in the hearts he touched and the timeless principles of peace and compassion he championed. And as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our video today.